Yeah, I'm ready to go too.
Okay. So, Patty, walk us through what you all are doing here today.
Right now, we're doing general assessments, health assessments with our veterinary team, and we're collecting evidence for the civil hearing that will take place on Tuesday. We're also all of that evidence will also be turned over to the district attorney's office for the criminal charges.
What are you seeing right now in terms of the condition of these horses?
Obviously we have some general neglect issues. It's really hard to say what we have on each individual horse at this point since we're doing cursory examinations. We have a couple dozen that are going to be removed today and taken back to the Houston SPCA main offices for critical care from our veterinary team. This is unusual for us to do a seizure on site. The district attorney's office and law enforcement here in Montgomery County has been fabulous, and so they have the entire site under police protection while we're providing care for the animals here. And that will take place at least until the hearing on Tuesday. And so we have teams out here feeding and caring for animals at the same time that we're doing the assessments, and then the most critical animals will move back to the Houston SPCA.
You see some of them eating hay over there. You mentioned earlier that looks can be deceiving in terms of what they're consuming.
I think that sometimes people can take, for the untrained eye, you can take a look at a horse and not see, some of the major issues. In particular, lameness issues that we're seeing with a lot of these animals with poor to no hoof care. And so while we see some animals out in the pasture that may not look as bad, or there's certainly varying degrees of neglect, there is a barn full of animals here that are probably in the worst condition of all the animals on the property.
What about now? You've got after the seizure hearing, you've got 200 horses. What the logistics behind something like this?
Well, in any seizure case, we're hoping that based on the evidence that we see, that the courts will determine that the animals have been cruelly treated and divest that person of ownership of the animals. So we hope that happens, and then we'll be working as diligently as possible to rehome horses. This is a challenging operation for our organization. We're a nonprofit charity, but this is what we do. Our mission is about caring for animals and preventing cruelty, and so this is what we do. And we have a wonderful, caring, and generous community, and we hope that Houston will step forward and help us in caring for these animals and also adopting them as well if we get custody of them.
What about the adoption process? A lot of people are already asking about that.
The adoption process for horses, these horses are not available for adoption at this point, and they would not be for adoption unless we gain custody of the animals. But if these animals do go up for adoption, they can go to our website, houstonspca.org, to look at our adoption process for horses. We have about 60 horses already up for adoption from previous cruelty cases, and so we're always in the horse adoption business.
This has to be pretty. With your day-to-day operations, how overwhelming undertaking something like this with so many horses?
Well, this is very overwhelming right now. We have about 60 horses, as I said, in our census. This makes it really difficult to move this many horses. Many of these horses are untrained, don't have very good ground manners at this point. They've never had, a lot of human hands on them, so it makes it challenging. But it's a little bit of a disaster in and of itself. But we will find a way to do it. And we have a lot of support. We have a lot more staff on board. Everyone's been called in with from their days off and additional overtime and with volunteers. This is no small undertaking by any stretch of the imagination, but we're working through it.
What about the financial toll?
The financial toll is we don't know what that's going to look like at this point. But if you have over 200 horses and you think about the fact that you've got to do blood work on every horse and you've got to vaccinate every horse, you have hoof care. We will at least be putting $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 into each of these horses, no doubt. And so that stacks up. I expect that on a minimum basis we will be spending about $500,000 on caring for these horses in a relatively short period of time.
What about transport? Now you've got 25 horses going to transport. You've got 95-degree weather today, crammed up in a trailer, Houston traffic. You can never move down a freeway without stopping. What about the transporting process?
Well, I wouldn't read anything into. Houston weather is Houston weather, and we move horses all the time, and so it's challenging. It's hot for us. It's hot for it's hot, but it'll be a far better place once we get them back into a cool barn with fans going, and we can get the veterinarians' hands on them.
And financially, if somebody want to donate to the SPCA to help you guys out, what should they
Donations
do?
are always welcomed, especially when we're in a crisis situation like we are right now with these horses, and we welcome donations, made out to the Houston SPCA. There is no national office, no trickle down from anywhere else, and people can simply go to our website, houstonspca.org, to make a donation for our work here.
And your title and name.
It's Patricia, Patricia Mercer, Mercer, Houston SPCA President. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Ms.
You also have, some issues related to likely nutrition and potentially parasites. It's time to actually do hands-on assessments on each individual horse. So generally, we're seeing, various types of neglect, but we'll have 97722-869 SPCA. They can file an online cruelty report at our website,